Daniel Rayburn's murder shocked everyone in Dublin, Georgia. His body was discovered in his front yard, showing clear signs of a brutal attack. At first, detectives thought it might have been a robbery gone wrong. However, as they investigated further, they found clues that pointed toward his wife, Nicole Woodard. She initially denied any involvement, claiming she left him alive after an argument, but her nervous behavior and inconsistent statements made detectives suspicious.
Alright, here's the deal. You're being charged with murder.
I never put my hands on it again.
As they dug deeper, they uncovered a dark plot that changed the course of the case. This case revolves around 37-year-old Nicole Woodard, who is being charged with the brutal murder of her husband, Daniel Rayburn. Just 48 hours prior, police discovered Daniel's lifeless body in the front yard of his home, with clear signs of a violent attack. Initially, detectives suspected a robbery gone wrong, but as the investigation unfolded, they uncovered a dark and twisted conspiracy, one that placed Nicole at the center of it all. On July 4th, a motorcyclist passing through Dublin, Georgia, made a distressing call to the police after spotting an unresponsive man lying in a yard. First responders arrived swiftly, only to find that the man had already succumbed to his injuries. His body was covered in bruises, insects crawled over his skin, and most disturbingly, a gunshot wound was visible at the back of his head. The state of rigor mortis indicated that he had been dead for several hours. It was immediately apparent to the officers that this was a homicide, and they needed to determine not only the victim's identity, but also the motive behind such a gruesome crime.
Yeah, he's dead right there.
In her yard?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Is he black?
Daughter said somebody arguing
Last night.
Their accounts pointed toward a woman named Nicole, who was known to be living in the house with Daniel. Upon searching the home, officers found no immediate signs of a struggle or forced entry. However, they discovered an important clue, a letter that revealed the full identity of Nicole Woodard, confirming that she was Daniel's wife. Shortly after, a crucial piece of information surfaced. Earlier that day, paramedics had picked up a woman named Nicole Woodard from a local Applebee's after she suffered a seizure and was transported to the hospital. Detectives found the timing suspicious. Her medical emergency occurred just hours after Daniel's murder, potentially serving as an alibi to distance herself from the crime. With this lead in hand, investigators found Nicole at the hospital and brought her in for questioning. From the start, her behavior made detectives suspicious. She looked nervous, her hands trembled, and her voice was shaky. When asked about the night before, she struggled to give clear answers. Some of her statements contradicted each other, making the officers doubt her story. Nicole claimed that she and Daniel had been drinking the previous night, which led to a heated argument. She admitted that the fight turned physical, but she insisted she had only pushed him. According to Nicole, when she left the house, Daniel was still alive. Detectives pressed her for more details, hoping to find out what really happened that night. However, Nicole avoided answering directly, giving vague responses instead. She did not show much concern for Daniel's death, which made the detectives even more suspicious. Authorities quickly identified the victim as Daniel Rayburn, a 40-year-old father and the owner of the property. Seeking further information, officers questioned neighbors who recalled hearing an argument and a possible gunshot around 1 a.m. One neighbor reported hearing a woman yell an insult followed by a loud bang, which she initially mistook for firecrackers. Despite their doubts, the police did not have strong evidence against her yet. They had no witnesses who saw Nicole commit the crime and no physical proof linking her to Daniel's death. Without this, they could not arrest her at that moment. For now, they had no choice but to let her go. However, the investigation was far from over. Detectives were determined to find out the truth and uncover any evidence that could connect Nicole to the crime. Even though she was released, the police kept a close watch on her. They continued gathering clues, searching Daniel's house, and talking to witnesses. They knew that something was not right with Nicole's story. It was only a matter of time before they found out what really happened that night. Unbeknownst to Nicole, the investigation was far from over. Officers continued collecting evidence from the crime scene, searching for any indication of who had been present at the home during the fatal altercation. With a search warrant in hand, they combed through Daniel's home, hoping to uncover the missing pieces needed to solve this chilling case. As they examined the residence further, they noticed that Nicole's belongings were conspicuously absent, suggesting that she had cleared out her things before the murder. This finding, along with other key evidence yet to be uncovered, would soon unravel the truth behind Daniel Rayburn's tragic and untimely death. This case revolves around Nicole, who quickly began defending herself when questioned by detectives.
Did he have any friends that came over to visit?
Once in a blue moon,
Even though no one had directly accused her, she seemed more concerned with proving her innocence than helping with the investigation into her husband's brutal murder. She insisted that she had never physically harmed him, claiming the worst she had done was push him backward. However, she also revealed that he had beaten her badly in November. While she portrayed herself as a victim of domestic abuse, detectives noticed that her words seemed carefully chosen to make Daniel look bad. It appeared as if she was subtly shifting the blame away from herself, possibly preparing for a legal defense. Detectives continued pressing Nicole for more details, sensing that she wasn't telling them everything. They pointed out inconsistencies in her statements and reminded her that they had evidence proving she knew more than she was admitting. Under pressure, Nicole finally suggested that her foster brother or adopted brother might have been involved. She admitted to calling them for help, saying they had previously threatened to step in if Daniel continued hurting her.
because I've been told 3 different things. I've been told he may have had a heart attack in the yard. I've been told he was beat up. And I've been told that they don't know what the hell happened, just that he was found in the yard.
However, detectives weren't convinced by her attempt to downplay her involvement. As the questioning intensified, detectives confronted Nicole with surveillance footage and other evidence, making it clear that they knew more than she realized. This pressure led her to break down. Tearfully, she confessed that she had indeed called her brothers and asked them to beat his ass because she was tired of the abuse. However, she insisted she never expected them to go as far as they did. She claimed she thought they would just rough him up a little, not kill him. Still, after the attack, she never checked on Daniel or called for help. Instead, she simply walked away, knowing he was badly hurt but choosing to protect her family members instead. With this confession, detectives arrested Nicole. However, the investigation didn't stop there. Officers quickly tracked down Thomas Harper and Andrew Huber, the 2 men Nicole had implicated. Both were arrested, and evidence collected from their homes provided undeniable proof of their involvement. A blood-stained piece of clothing was found at Andrew Huber's residence, and a DNA test confirmed that the blood belonged to Daniel. This proved Andrew had been present at the crime scene. Meanwhile, at Thomas Harper's home, police found a handgun along with 4 spent casings, which matched the bullet fired into Daniel's head. Additionally, a dreadlock found at the crime scene turned out to be a direct match to Thomas, confirming his presence as well. Although Nicole never physically harmed Daniel herself, police determined that she was responsible for setting the attack in motion. Instead of seeking help or leaving the abusive relationship, she chose to call people she knew might hurt him. In the end, all 3 individuals involved faced justice. Andrew Huber was convicted of felony murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Nicole and Thomas Harper pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and were sentenced to prison terms likely ranging from 10 to 20 years. In the end, justice was served for Daniel Rayburn. Nicole Woodard's actions led to his tragic death, even though she never pulled the trigger herself. By calling for help in the wrong way, she set a violent attack in motion. Her foster brothers Andrew Huber and Thomas Harper were also held accountable for their roles in the crime. The evidence against them was undeniable, from DNA matches to the murder weapon. While they all faced prison time, nothing could undo the pain and loss caused by their choices. This case proved that every action has consequences, especially when fueled by anger and revenge. Stay aware, stay safe, and always choose the right path, because one decision can change everything.